Alright, today's review is going to be on Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, first off, the plot. The plot of this movie, it's a pretty complex plot because it deals with both the passing of Chadwick Boseman, who played T'Challa, obviously, the Black Panther, a major mantle to be passing on. So it follows kind of the plan of passing on the Black Panther mantle to Shuri. And Letitia Wright does a pretty good job acting in this movie and really playing up the emotion. And I think it's easy to see how, because she's probably pulling on the emotion from real life grief and loss over losing Chadwick Boseman. But the plot also includes Namor, and honestly, I think his name is Tenoch Huerta. I think is the name. He does a really good job of keeping a serious tone. Hope I didn't butcher the name. I think it's generally right. Um, but yeah, I think obviously it shows two countries in a conflict with each other of Talokan and Wakanda, and they do a very good job of kind of playing out that sort of like it feels like the beginning of the movie is almost like Cold War briefly, and then I mean it just they start scrapping later on in the movie. But the shared identity of having vibranium, having access to vibranium. In the first Black Panther movie, it kind of felt like Wakanda was like kind of like more powerful than the whole world because they had access to vibranium, and to know that there is a country out there on their level that is able to challenge them, and then that to be taken very seriously, and for it to feel like a proper war is it's quite honestly refreshing, and it's one of the better plots in the MCU, I feel. Again, kind of a complicated one because they're having to do both real world changes to the plot and have the base plot of the movie too. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the dialogue of this movie. This, I think, is maybe the highest rating I have for dialogue in the MCU. This movie is a long movie, but that does not diminish the value of the dialogue. There's a lot that they have to explain via dialogue about T'Challa and kind of where we are post Endgame, and they do an excellent job, especially with the grief element of it. And I think they do a good job with Riri Williams. I think they do a good job with Queen Ramonda, obviously with Namor and Shuri. And in Baku, I think they just did a great job. I just kind of went around and named the entire cast, but truly, I mean, they did a great job with the dialogue in this movie. And yeah, let's just I haven't gotten fully through this review yet, but I just want to give a shout out to Ryan Coogler for kind of just he's a real director. He's one of those elite directors out right now, and honestly, every time I know that he's making a movie, he's entering that category of a must-see guy as far as making a movie. So yeah, shout out Ryan Coogler. The acting, uh, Letitia Wright, she's been in a couple of things that I've watched before, and obviously she was in the first Black Panther movie, but she really kind of steps it up in this game. I feel like everybody steps it up in this game, or in the game, in the movie, because I think honestly the loss of Chadwick Boseman, it allows you to channel deeper emotions and kind of put on display real emotions. And that's something that you see in the great actors, that when they channel their emotions, they're channeling it from something that they actually feel in movies. And in this movie, it allowed everybody to kind of tap into that, because it was like, okay, this movie is a celebration and a memory of a real life person that a lot of these people owe a lot of not their success to, but like kind of their notability to. And I think you can really tell when you're watching it that the entire cast, crew, staff, everybody was motivated to make a very high quality movie, and you just see it all the way through in this movie. So yeah, shout out all the acting, especially shout out Angela Bassett as Queen Ramonda. She did a phenomenal job, and then second shout out Shuri. I think Letitia Wright did a great job too. So yeah, cinematography 9. This movie straight up does a lot of. They don't try and do a lot with CGI characters, to be honest. There's not much that goes on with that. A lot of the characters in this movie are practical. The Black Panther suit for Shuri is practical. I think, whether it's her or a stunt double in the suit, you're not seeing a lot of scenes where it's like, not a person, where it's a computer generated image or whatever. Same goes for Namor. Just everything looks good in this movie. Nothing looks fake in this movie, especially the scenes in Wakanda when Namor's attacking. They look really good, and it makes Wakanda feel real, like it is a real place in the world. And honestly, I wish a lot of the other movies kind of focused. I think, to me, the core elements of a movie are plot, cinematography, and soundtrack. I think if you nail those three categories, dialogue and acting, as long as you don't do a horrible job, you can easily get a good rating as a movie if you focus on plot, cinematography, and soundtrack. So yeah, shout out the Ryan Coogler and whoever the cinematographer was on this movie, because it looks outstanding. And I think they learned from some of the things that were like problems in the first movie, which is leaning too heavily on CGI for some of the fight scenes. Ends up making the fight scenes look a little unrealistic, and they definitely do not do that in this movie. So they do it a little bit with Namor, but they look good, so it doesn't matter. And then we have another shout out, Ludwig Göransson, famous for the Mandalorian theme, I believe. I think that's right. But yeah, shout out Ludwig Göransson. He did a great job on the first Black Panther movie, and he did another great job in this movie, specifically with the Talokan and Namor themes in the movie, and the Siren theme. One of the Siren themes I think went viral on like TikTok, because it's like such a good song or sound, or however you would want to put it. But yeah, shout out Ludwig Göransson. He did another great job on the soundtrack. They didn't have like a original soundtrack created that with like lyrics this time around, like they did with the first movie with Kendrick Lamar. But the original soundtrack that Ludwig Göransson created did a great job of establishing tone, and Shuri's theme also I think is another highlight of the soundtrack when she lands in the new suit after taking the synthetic heart shape herb. I think she did or not she, but I think this movie did just a great job of introducing Shuri in that moment with that soundtrack. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the bonus categories before we get into the total rating. So I got Immersion at an 8.4. This is one of the few MCU movies, if not the only one, that is immersive. Yeah, it is the only MCU movie that I gave an immersion rating to, and it's because it feels real. It feels close to real life, because again, they are tapping into genuine emotion and the conflict and the characters in this movie. Even though Namor, has wings on his feet, he feels real. He doesn't feel like Red Skull, where he's just clearly a comic book character. Yeah, the comedy in this movie, I gave it an 8. Notably in Baku with the "you bald-headed demon" joke. I think that's one of the better jokes in the MCU world building. I give it an 8.9. Again, establishing a whole other part of the MCU, I think, is a big deal. Establishing Riri Williams as a character, Shuri as a new Black Panther, and then also just Talokan and Namor in general, I think is a big deal. The character's 8.2. I feel like with the absence of T'Challa, they did a great job of filling in with the cast that they have of Okoye and obviously Shuri and Queen Ramonda and Riri Williams, and then they even filled in with kind of the CIA element of it with Val and God, I can't even think of Martin. Is his name Martin Freeman? Yeah, Everett Ross. That's right. Yeah. So yeah, straight up shout out. Honestly, the characters, they did a good job of splitting the like carrying the burden of missing your main star. So yeah, the action in this movie, 8.8. I love the fight scenes between Shuri and Namor. Jesus. Namor at the end of the movie. I think it's really good hand-to-hand combat. I will say I think the Black Panther combat in this movie is better than like the Royal Guard combat in this movie. I did feel like that was a little boring. The Ironheart or Riri Williams part of the movie, I feel like just it felt a little out of place. I get they're trying to introduce a character in a movie that is not their own, but and I've previously talked about how I think they need to do that more often. It just felt a little weird in this movie, but I still think it was fine. So yeah, I really think the hand-to-hand combat in this movie, again, 8.8, that's up there for action. So yeah, shout out the people who choreographed the fights in this movie. And the total rating is an 8.6. So I think this is the hot take of this is that I think Black Panther Wakanda Forever is a better movie than the original Black Panther. I think the original Black Panther is more iconic than this movie, but I think this movie is a better all around movie. It fixes a lot of the visual issues that the first one had with the fight scenes. The soundtrack is just as good, in my opinion, or it's not just as good, but it's very, very close to as good. And then also, I think the plot is, I think it's way better than the first movie. I think the Killmonger plot was a little boring to me. I get the kind of the infighting between Wakandans and the different views and philosophies about how they should use their resources to help out the world, or if they should in general. But I feel like in this movie, they really kind of take a step up. So yeah, that's what I think about Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Let me know what you guys think about the movie. Let me know what you guys think about my review of the movie, and thank you guys for watching. And peace.